What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video of Appreciating Comic Book Art series. Today we are doing Marc Silvestri's Spawn 25 as part of the man, fuck, I don't know what's up with lately. Image crossover series, where all of the founding fathers of Image did each other's titles for a month. So with this, Todd McFarlane ended up doing a Cyberforce, and Marc Silvestri jumped over and did an issue of Spawn. Now, this is one of the first times that Silvestri did a individual character since his Wolverine series, and really, what kind of pushed Silvestri into doing more of the supernatural kind of dark characters. You'd see him kind of tackle like the darkness after this, and really kind of push Top Cow in that direction after his one issue of Spawn here. And I think this is actually the issue that kind of pushed Silvestri into more of a superstardom. Not that he wasn't already, but he really exploded after this. Like, a lot of people got more of a sense for his dynamic style if they hadn't jumped into it already previously in Uncanny X-Men and Wolverine, and some of the early stuff he did before he got to Image and Top Cow and did stuff like Cyberforce and whatnot. Like, this really kind of showed his dark dynamic style and really kind of kept pushing him into a style where he keep on, I don't want to say reinventing himself, but doing more and more with his art and breaking away from the stylistic pack of the 90s, so to speak. So before we go forward, if you like this channel and you like the content, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, give me a like, and share the video. I would appreciate it very much. So let's jump into this book. Awesome cover. If anybody has this issue, you absolutely know how awesome of a book this is. And just Silvestri's visuals, his camera placement, the way he draws pages is just absolutely beautiful. Inked by Matt Batting with some assists by Billy Tan there. I just noticed that. That's pretty cool. And colors by Brian Hammerlin. So this book, I love it. He keeps the Todd feel, the McFarlane feel of the books. I mean, and granted, he's going off of Todd's script and everything, but he did really a good job of trying to capture how Todd would draw some of these faces. Because this isn't necessarily so much Silvestri's style with doing like these really kind of goofy, cartoonish faces, kind of like that McFarlane does and Capullo does. But he leaned into it. He leaned to the world of Spawn, and that shows some great respect for, one, Todd himself, and two, the character. He was coming in here, he was bringing his style, but he also wanted to capture what the book was, and he did a great job of it. So we're gonna keep on cruising. All right, here we go. So this just shows a little bit of the dynamic storytelling and aspects of Silvestri's art coming right off the bat. Stuff like this. People give a lot of artists in the 90s shit for not drawing feet very often. I know Rob Liefeld gets it quite a bit for some reason, even though he draws tons of feet, and even though artists like Silvestri and Jim Lee, they don't draw feet either. You know why? Because drawing feet's a pain in the ass. And when you're painting a scene like this, when you put them in an environment where you have debris and boxes and what looks to be like, mild fog, or maybe even some dense fog down here, it's a dynamic to have the lower body disappearing into the fog, and you're not always going to be sitting on a flat plane where your feet is just going to be always visible. So I loved stuff like this when I was a kid. I just thought it was really pleasing to the eye to see the body just kind of trail off into the fog. The colors carry it, the inks carry it. I just love stuff like that. I think it's a great, if you want to call it a trick, if you want to call it being lazy, whatever, I just call it some dynamic art. Again, I don't think Wanda's ever looked as good as when Silvestri drew her. And I know Capullo did a really good job of drawing Wanda as well, but Silvestri's just he's kind of on a level of his own when it comes to drawing attractive people in general, male, female, it doesn't matter. Crazy, awesome looking characters. Uh, just this is just one of those books, you know. It was a cool breakaway to see what Silvestri could do on a book like Spawn. And I personally was never crazy about the story, but like this character really never interested me. However, the visuals that Silvestri brought to this book just put it on a new. I'll say it. I was always a fan of Marc Silvestri. Anybody that watches the channel or watches me on the Odd and Stuff channel knows that I'm a big fan of Silvestri now. He's a big influence on my own work. He's one of my favorite all-time artists. But I'll admit that I hadn't really got into him too much as compared to like Jim Lee and Tom McFarlane and Rob Liefeld when Image hit. I liked Cyberforce, I liked those books, but it wasn't until Spawn 25 when I really think about it where I really started to notice and really fall in love with his stuff. And just dynamically wise, I love how Marc draws the cities. And I've heard people like Richard Friend on his channel. If you get a chance, check his channel out. It's an awesome channel, very informative. He's a great inker, great artist, and he's got a lot of inside information. Having worked at Wildstorm and all that, but he'll say that Top Cow had a lot of assistants working on all the books, so the books got out on time as much as they could. And there's a lot of background assistance and whatnot. Even with Silvestri, and even some of his inkers would tighten up very loose stuff just to keep him on track. I don't know if anything happened like that in this particular book. I just know art in general that this is awesome. I absolutely love stuff like this. It's not, a normal reader might just skip by this because it's just part of the environment. It's the background, no big deal. Your eye is drawn to Spawn, especially with the cape being all in red. And then you're just going to move through the page real quick with all this dynamic storytelling. But to me, as an artist and like a world builder, these are the things I really pay attention to. I pay attention to how the building's lit, how the lighting hits, how a black silhouette of this building can really make the background and the foreground pop and really make Spawn's cape pop. I mean, it draws your eye. When you see this panel, your eye goes right here, and then you can kind of explore the rest, but it goes exactly where you want it to do. And all this technique here, it really just draws the attention where it's supposed to be. And this great vertical panel, just a close up. This is something they did a lot in the 90s. I personally liked it. It just gives a dynamic to the page. Just close up of the eye. It's great rendering, throwing some great light sources, great shadowing. And here again, same thing we're talking about here with the building. It's still solid black silhouette, deep heavy shadows up there. The cape just stands right out, and you're falling into the atmosphere and the setting of the page. Just love it. It's well done. It's just that's kind of stuff I geek out with as an artist. And obviously stuff like this is awesome. How can you not love action scenes? But sometimes the subtle things in books that other people might just glaze over because you're just reading the book, you're enjoying the story, and you're just taking it for what it is. But sometimes it's that stuff that I really get into and I really enjoy seeing in anybody's work, not just Silvestri's. We'll keep on rolling here. Try to get through this, keep this a shorter video. But highly recommend this. Oh no, that was it. I highly recommend this book. It's a fun book, mostly for the art because it was cool to see Marc Silvestri kind of get out and just kind of stretch his feet, so to speak. Just really kind of show what he could do, and it's really inspired him to go on and do single characters. Specifically the Darkness, and you would see the team of Silvestri and Matt Banning go ahead and do the Darkness, and we'll cover some of that at some point too, because that was just a fun book, and that's another step in Silvestri's style as he kept on breaking away from the pack. And if you listen to Rob Liefeld's podcast or Observations, he talked specifically about how he thought that this was the book that propelled Silvestri forward. You know, not only with Top Cow and his style, but his name just got bigger and bigger after this. And being on a flagship title like Spawn and doing such an awesome job as he did, it just really, you know, this is one of the things I remember reading this issue. It's like, man, I wish I had more issues with Marc doing some pencils because I'd love to see him tackle characters like this. And lo and behold, what we get after this, the darkness. It was awesome. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. I remember to check out the On Stuff show on Fridays 8:30 and wait, it's actually we changed the time. It's at Fridays at 9 now and Wednesdays at 9. So I'll have all the information there in the description below. Check out all my social medias. Give me a like on this again. Subscribe if you like the channel. Share this. I really appreciate everybody that comments on these videos and watches them. I do these for fun. You know, it's just something I really enjoy doing. So I like interacting with everybody that wants to comment, give suggestions. Tell me what you see in the video and what you like out of it that I might have missed. You know, throw it in the comments there. I'd love to chat with you. So, all right. I appreciate it, guys. You all have a good one. I'll talk to you later.